are Tomkatsu. I am Keza Henshin, your host for today, and here we have...
Thomas Jujubee. Hi everyone, I'm Thomas Jujubee, or I guess I'll just be Thomas for the duration of this recording.
Cool.
Happy to be here.
Marco Satsu, not sponsored by Mr. Beast.
Oh no. Not sponsored?
I'm sorry. There's a little Ultraman on the screen, remember? Put it on the other side. Do your intro again, but on the other side.
Here. Mr. Beast.
Hey! Already off to
Mr.
a great
Beast.
start. So, we are a new podcast, Tomkatsu, because everybody else and their mothers have podcasts these days. So I thought, why not do it with us three? And it's already going off to a great start. But first, can we have some Toku news from Thomas?
We don't have a visual of this. This also isn't like the biggest news, but I just wanted to include it because I thought it was cool. We're getting some info about what the final stage is supposed to be. We've gotten some stuff like about the Geats forms, but I didn't include any of that. I just included this because apparently Tycoon Boost Mark II is appearing, which I thought was pretty cool because only Geats used Boost Mark II in the show, and now someone else gets to use it in the movie. Or sorry, the stage show.
Stage show!
I think they're gonna just repaint the head like red so it matches the rest of the body. I don't know if you've seen Geats, Mark.
Gosh. Well, if it's as good as Geats' then okay, we can move on to the next one.
Damn.
It's supposed to be just like the Geats suit, and then they just they stick the Tycoon head on. Because, like, apparently they switch out some aspects for, like, every stage show. For Geats, at least. Like, they always do. But they're, like, playing really hard into it with Geats for whatever reason. Because he has, like, the different forms for each venue they'll perform at. The cast that they switch out each time is going to play into the plot. It's really weird. So, looks like it will be a fun stage show thing. So.
Cool. Stage show.
Been a bit of Gotchard news this week. Kind of. There's this image that's supposed to be Kamen Rider Legends belt. The card in the top, the gate opens. Apparently it's also supposed to look a bit like the Deca driver, but you can't really see that in this picture. It's not Decade.
So is it supposed to like open up like an actual gate then?
Yeah, like do you remember Beast Driver? I don't know how this came about. Supposedly this is a screenshot from the show, and this is like his chemi or some version of his form. But like this is clearly something from the show. So someone just has the next couple of episodes or some of the assets and just leaked it to the public, which is kind of wild. Unless this is from something, and now I look stupid. This is supposedly his legend or like his Hopper one. And then I think it's supposed to be like on the card with him. Like the cards are designed like the Legend Riders. It's not the greatest CG, so I don't know why they keep doing CG things. But thoughts on the lion?
I think that just looks like a Zord of its own, so it might just be a
it does.
Zord.
That's why I'm sorry. The more I look at it, I'm like, I think this is from Power Rangers, and someone recolored it. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, they do reuse the CG assets. Maybe it is literally from a Sentai and then he changed the colors.
Maybe.
I thought this was from Garo for some reason.
It looks like it could be a Garo thing, but it's more wolfy though. Garo's more wolf than lion.
I was going to say, this is a lion, but...
So maybe you're wrong.
I have no idea. I haven't seen Garo, so... You guys are the Garo experts here, it's not me.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. So I just included these because they're cute.
Oh my gosh!
Have neither of you seen these?
No.
That's why I included it.
Santa Claus.
They showed off some more of the card art for the cake that's coming out for Christmas. And like always, if you buy it, you get a gimmick. So you get the Santa Claus and Tonka liner, Tanaka liner.
That is so cute.
So, obviously, these two friends are going to match together. I didn't include a picture of it, but the back base image is, like, Gotchard with a beard and reindeer ear or horns. So, I hope we see something like that, because that'll look cute. I really like the Hopper one. And then also, for whatever reason, the set also comes with Birth, Aaron, and someone else, I can't remember. Like, 3 actual Legend Rider cards. I mean, if you're collecting cards in general, you'll have to buy this cake set because these two will make a unique sound in the belt.
Have you guys got some of the cards? Because I haven't even tried to attempt to like get any of the cards yet. There he goes, flaunting his cards. I see.
You asked. I'm showing. You asked this question.
No.
It's true.
It's fine.
I wasn't gonna buy the cards, and then
And then you did.
I had to buy the belt for the Godshard. Sorry, the Geats oneness thing. Yes, I say this, but I didn't actually have to buy anything. So I wasn't gonna buy it, and then I did. But I don't know if I'm gonna buy any others for now. I will eventually, probably. This happened this morning. So
10th anniversary?
There's a possibility that nothing really comes of this. It will because it's Sky. But like for Wizard, they were like, guys, Wizard 10th, they uploaded an image like this, and it happened.
Really?
So they did like a special with like the actors, I think, and that was it.
Oh.
And I think they put this on a shirt. So if you're into that, then this or that. But
oh boy,
Gaim 10th they've recognized Gaim 10th at least. Finally announced the CSM Genesis driver.
Oh my god.
Because they did the Sengoku driver. When did Saber come out? 2020. So literally 3 years ago, they did CSM Gaim. They started CSM Gaim. And I remember they said in the announcement, we're doing this to build up to the 10th anniversary. And then, like, at a certain point, they just stopped. Like, they've kind of been absent for, like, a year or something with CSM Gaim. And the whole time, everyone's like, where's the other belt? There's a whole other belt here. It took 3 years to make this Genesis driver CSM because they have to figure out how to get rid of the gear squeaky sound. This is finally happening. And then what? They also... I haven't looked at what the rest of this is. So, Genesis Driver Buckle Edition. Don't know what that is. And then Energy Lock Seeds set. I assume... How many Energy Lock Seeds are there? There's Melon,
There's
Lemon,
the main
Cherry,
4.
Peach, Dragon
special
Fruit,
ones. Yeah.
and then Maron. No, they already did Maron, didn't they? Because that's just the power-up. Yeah, they did.
The Kurokage one?
No, that's the other one I was going to count. I think that's 6. I was talking about the one that Knuckle uses in the V cinema.
I have no
Because I
idea
didn't-
what you're talking about.
Have you not seen Gaim?
I watched Gaim,
Gaim,
but
haven't you?
I have watched
I was gonna
Gaim,
say.
but it's just like these are going into the specifics, and I can't remember because I thought it got too dramatic, and I was just like, oh, I got
gonna
too
say, I'm
traumatized
really-
by the show.
Because I remember
Oh my God.
during the Toku Predictions Geats, or when Hawk was rewatching for the count of the points, and we brought up
God.
Michi, and you're like, "Who's that?" And we all
yeah.
went, "What?" And you're like,
know who
"No, I
Michi
know who that
is.
is. I just
I
forgot."
know.
I want to flex my knowledge here a little bit. So back when Team Kamen Rider was a thing and was not like 3 people, I was actually told about a lot of these feature releases, and Genesis Driver was one of the one things I was told about. So I was waiting for it for like 2 years, and now that it's here,
I was gonna say, like, they told you a long time ago.
yeah, like they told me. I remember one time they brought it up when we were talking about Anime Expo, which I didn't go to, 2022, and that's when they told me over the phone.
That's when
And I
I
was
went.
like, wow, that's really cool.
Do you have any insight what the Buckle Edition is then?
It's like, yeah, here it is.
So I was only told about the Genesis driver. I was not told about the Energy Lock Seed set or the Buckle Edition.
Okay. If I had to guess, it would be just like the core piece that they slot into Sengoku driver.
Mm-hmm.
But they already released that individually.
Oh
the
yeah.
Sengoku driver, and it's also like they've acknowledged the name is like the Genesis core unit or something. Just calling it the Genesis driver Buckle Edition just feels really weird because we all know what it's called. Everyone who probably is spending $500 on this knows what it's called. So
I am not, so.
see,
Bye.
so I don't know.
I don't have
so
the
it's kinda
money
like a standard
to.
release, but also like there's some intrigue with that Buckle Edition. It's probably gonna be nothing unique. I saw some people say maybe it could be like the Project Arc stuff, or oh yeah, that could be it. Like it could just be the belt, without, like, because they'll probably release the base belt with like melon, and then the buckle edition could just be the belt, maybe. Because you're going to be pre-ordering all of this.
Yes, for sure. I will be first in line. I'll be right there, first in line, hand on the button.
Keza, actually, as a UK person who probably has zero access to any of this stuff, how do you feel?
That's probably why I don't.
Anyways.
I'm not really involved, maybe because in the UK we have such limited access anyway to things that, like, I just don't jump at it. One, I don't have the money, but two, I don't have the access to it. So even if I want to get like some of the newer stuff, I have to either order from Amazon Japan, because all the other websites, I think there's like one other website that does deliver to the UK, but there's like all the other websites that do tokusatsu stuff only deliver to Japan or America. So I'm like, yay! Grab it! Anyway.
Marcos, are you buying this?
Are you buying this?
I'm actually not a fan of it, so I'm not.
Okay.
Sorry, Thomas, you are not. Anyway.
We have Sentai news now.
Sentai
that's all
news.
for Kamen Rider. So Sentai there actually wasn't much this year, unless you this week, unless you count. Apparently we have like a decent amount of leaks for Boon Boonjer.
Boon Boonjer.
Supposedly the team colors are Battle Fever J, red, blue, pink, black, and orange. The suits are supposed to look. Sorry, guys. The suits are supposed to look kind of like Bokenjer. Like they're white. They're mostly white. They have a compass thing. Their henshin device is also like the Sixth Ranger of Bokenjer with like the wrist device, which apparently has like the compass thing to transform. And then apparently the mecha is like being described as like a big bus, and you take like two cars and crash them into the bus, and it creates the robot.
Wow.
I was excited for Boon Boonjer.
Probably be rumors, but
I'm not anymore.
You were. Because there's no yellow.
One, there's no yellow, and two, I'm not interested in vehicles. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in vehicles. So that is one element that it just doesn't grab me on.
90% of Sentai is vehicles.
No, but like, no, I meant because they're like, I heard a rumor that it's all going to be like car based. Like a racing car, that's fine. But when it's like, we've got a digger, we got a helicopter, we're like, cool. But when it's like only based on that one element that it's a vehicle thing, I'm like, with King Oja, it had royalty, bugs, and vehicles. Do you get what I mean? But this just sounds like it's just going to be vehicles. Yeah, well, it's like, you know what I mean? They're the Zords. And there was like rumors that it was going to be vehicles as well. Like
there's the one bike that comes out of Kuwagata Oger, but that only happens in one episode. So no, that was 2 episodes.
Anyway.
But the one thing I'm really curious about is if we get another woman on the team, she'll probably be a color, unless they make her blue, we'll have a woman color that we haven't gotten before, black or orange. That would be pretty cool.
I'd like to see a Black Ranger who's a female. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would. Either way they go, that would be pretty cool. But I feel like that's not going to happen, and Pink's going to be the only girl, and then everyone else is a guy. But
I know.
That's just what Toei does. I wish it wasn't that way.
This is like a hint to if anybody is listening to this podcast, this is a hint to future episodes.
I'm listening.
We want to have like loads of episodes where we just discuss about specific things. I'm adding to the list like about just non-female, like the lack of females in Sentai.
As the news goes on, Keza is writing ideas down. There really was nothing else for Sentai this week.
Sorry, any other Toku news? That's what I meant to say.
Ultraman here.
Ultraman!
This is just a picture of Ultraman. Blazar with the sword that
Blazar.
they use next week, with the toy that also comes out next week. I just included it because I didn't want Ultraman to feel left out. Other than that,
It's the younger brother you have to like let blow out the cakes at your birthday party.
are
Here you go,
either of you still
Blazar.
watching Blazar or no?
I went to Edinburgh, so I haven't been watching anything. And then I got ill with
Right.
COVID, so I've not been watching anything. So
What
Well,
about
I've
you?
actually been watching it. I've been watching it week to week with my wife. We
I was
get a
gonna say, your
pizza
wife
every
likes
single
it.
All
Friday.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot. Is she still enjoying it?
Are you caught up?
yeah, she's still loving it. Like she's loving Blazar and Garo, which we've been watching also. So she's super into it.
Garo. I need to catch up on Garo. I love Garo.
The latest episode was very good. I
Yeah,
like
good.
what they're doing with Blazar, so I'm looking forward to this.
Another show I have to keep up with.
You can turn on or the dubs and then just do whatever
Yeah.
and let it play.
That's actually something
Yeah.
that's really nice about Blazar, that there's dubs already in the episode.
Yeah.
Toei, where's that for everything else?
I just wish it didn't default to dubs because I like subs, so I turn it on and then they start speaking English. I'm like,
No.
go away. That's not what you sound like.
This is actually something I do want to
English voice
discuss
dubs here.
at some point, is bringing over English dub for every other Sentai and Kamen Rider. Because Power Rangers
I'll do
is
the voice.
done now, isn't it? But they can still bring Sentai
Oh,
and
yeah,
Kamen Rider
speaking of.
over. Oh, great!
Speaking of which, cool
This is
transition.
the last bit of news. Yeah. So we'll get through this quickly because we want to get to Star Wars, I imagine.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say the same thing.
Is Star Wars Toku?
Oh.
Well,
None of this.
Continue.
That's not. So, Hasbro PulseCon happened. Of course, the only part of it relevant to this podcast is Power Rangers, which was covered in a. I didn't watch it live, but I heard that they got through it pretty quickly, and they had like 20 minutes allotted to do it anyways, which is like less than most of the event. So, Omega Ranger Lightning Collection PulseCon pack is up. Or I think it's still up. I don't think it's sold out. So if you want to get it, you can get it. Jason, Zach, Trini, and Kia from the one arc of the comics. They're not even Omega Rangers anymore, so I don't know. And then the big thing everyone wanted, of course, is the Master Morpher is finally up. Also a PulseCon exclusive. I think it's still up. It sold out pretty quickly, which is expected, but also cool. But now there's another shipment they're doing, which they said expected to ship November, but in Hasbro, that could either be delayed to next year or it's shipping right now and they haven't told you. So
I have heard so many people talking about this Master Driver.
Master Driver.
Master Driver. Oh my gosh.
It's about
Kamen
because it's
Rider.
like Kamen Rider? Kamen Rider.
At least I did say the other thing I could have said. Master Morpher. I've heard so many people talking about this Master
Oh my
Morpher.
gosh.
I am not interested in it necessarily. I guess I don't know.
Keza.
Are you guys interested? Are you guys rushing to buy it?
Oh, I pre-ordered this in the Omega Range. Actually, if you're not pre-orders,
Oh,
they're
man.
shipping apparently like now.
Wait,
course.
Thomas, you forgot the most important merchandise.
Huh?
The Megazord shoes.
I did
The
forget that.
slippers.
I apologize.
Oh my god,
they also
yes!
showed off
I want
Megazord.
those are what I want. I want comfort and snuggles. That's what I want.
Oh my gosh. Well, the I've been wanting to make a video about the Power Rangers comics, so I've been trying to read what I can. And the Omega Rangers are pretty cool. I think as like American designs and American exclusive Rangers, these are probably some of the best suits they have aside from the Jungle Fury. The Spirit Rangers, those are pretty cool.
Oh,
But
like
these are
those.
up there too. And I love these designs so much. I'm not gonna buy them, but
Yeah.
they're good designs.
That's why I got them, because I like those designs. Also, it's kind of like, this is one of the last Lightning Collection releases ever. I don't really
Yeah.
have any
Oh, is
other
it?
ones.
Oh, I didn't
It
even
might
know
as
that.
well. Well, the brand is going on hiatus, so this is
Oh, that's what people
one of
were
the
talking
last
about.
things that was still in the pipeline. So, I mean, I also do like the suits, and I've read that arc in the comics.
So I heard that Simon Bennett, when watching...
Oh no.
I know, Pookie alert, Pookie alert.
Pookie.
No, when I saw this tweet he said about how he watched the source material for the new show that he took on, and everybody in the room laughed because it was funny to them, but not as in like, I'm enjoying this, but it was like funny because it was a strange laugh, kind of funny thing. That is such a red flag to me. If you're not invested in the source material you have, what the fuck are you doing? So
that can definitely be its own podcast episode.
yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot to talk about on that.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the Master Morpher, my mom got me the Legacy Morpher, the original when it first came out like years ago as a birthday gift, and it was so cool. I loved it. It's like really sentimental to me. So when it comes to that Master Morpher, I actually do want this, and I've been trying to get it, but they've been selling out so fast, and I just really want one. Hasbro, send it to me as a
Fair.
This one's pretty cheap, actually. It's like $65 on Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah,
so,
that's not bad.
I don't have any MMPR Morpher, so I was like Master Morpher, and I didn't really want the original one, but the Tommy one, the Master Morpher, I'm like, I'm in, count me in.
Give it me.
Yeah, that's why I got it. And actually, speaking of Pookie, because you brought up Pookie, they also did bring on Simon Bennett onto the stream. And he said he wishes we were all wiped out by the Z-Wave, and then they showed a clip of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. I'm kidding about that last part, but they did.
So they did show the trailer about Cosmic Fury.
They didn't show a trailer. They played like the first minute of the show, I think.
Oh, of course, yeah, that came out.
Which I didn't watch because I don't want to watch it, but
I'm not gonna spoil it. I did watch it, and what I did see, I thought it was really good. I was actually kind of impressed by the shots they had. So I'm more excited for Cosmic Fury. I'm not excited for the tweets that will follow Cosmic Fury, but I'm very excited for the show itself.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
actually the same boat. Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement for that, which is unfortunate. So.
Why is it unfortunate?
No. It's unfortunate that it's not unfortunate that we agree. It's unfortunate that we don't really believe where it's going. Like, we're excited for Cosmic Fury because of what they've shown us, but because of the uncertainty of everything else, it's a shame that we don't have much confidence in it. If that you get what I mean.
Yeah, I just want to see what they do with all that. So.
Any more Toku news?
That is it. It's just this. Unfortunately, next there's nothing else. So.
Bro, thank you, news. I want to be like, well, thank you so much, Thomas, from the weather, from the news. No.
Yeah, I'm not the weather guy. That's Marcos.
Oh, okay, Marcos. What's the weather like today then?
Let me look at my phone real quick. It's 89 degrees in Arizona.
Damn. You know that these are the things that this is like the first gonna be okay. This is gonna be the first episode, so there are things that may leave, may stay, may change, may get flipped around.
Yeah, we might cut Marcos out entirely.
Yeah, just completely cut him out of this podcast. So it's just Tomk. It's just Tomk.
Replace him with a frog.
Frog
that has his voice.
Tomka frog.
Yes.
Anyway, shall we continue from there onwards? Anyway, I'm moving us on to the next bit.
All right, everyone, get your headphones on, put on a shirt, and get ready for the Marco Satsu Game Show.
What is the game? What is the game, Marcos?
Today's game is the Trivia Game Show. Yeah, woo.
Oh god, I'm gonna fail so hard.
Since it is the first one for the first episode, it's gonna be super easy. Okay,
cool.
It's gonna be incredibly easy. Okay, Kaza, you're gonna get the first one since you're the host.
I don't know dates.
Come on, you tokusatsu YouTuber, shouldn't you know?
Says you who doesn't watch any Toku.
True. All right, ready?
Yeah.
What year did Kamen Rider the first come out?
19...
Oh.
Wait, the first. So Ichigo, right? Or are you saying like that because you're being difficult? You're being difficult.
Come on, Kaz, the clock's ticking.
1951. I don't know. It's early, isn't it?
Oh, man, that's I would say that's right, but I'd be lying.
Then don't lie.
Actually,
what is it, Thomas? You say
that was close,
was it?
This was also kind of a trick question because I specifically said Kamen Rider the first, not the first Kamen Rider from 1971.
Movie Kamen Rider.
I don't know when that came out. What's the answer?
And that came out in 2005.
And it was around Kabuto, so it's like 2006.
Yeah.
That's why I said you're being difficult.
I know.
I knew it. I couldn't.
Oh, no.
When did the first Kamen Rider come out?
1971.
Ah,
that would have been wrong anyway.
Yeah, I know. 1951 was wrong anyway, but I was just like, was it Godzilla that was like?
Yeah, 54.
Okay.
Godzilla was 54.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was almost there. 50 years off.
You're 3 years off of a different franchise.
It was close. Anyway, continue.
Okay, all right, Thomas. This one's yours. What year did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers come out?
1906.
That was really close.
Oh.
It was actually 93.
Is it 94? Oh, it's 94.
Ah.
I think 96 is something else. Maybe
it's older than you think. Like I used to think Mighty Morphin came out in 96.
And then as soon as I said it, I was like, wait, we're on the 30th anniversary. You could have subtracted.
Yeah. But that's math.
Yeah.
That takes math.
As soon as I said it, I was like, wait.
Nani?
Oh, that's oops. I always get confused with Transformers, which started in 84 and then had a movie in 86. So I try to like connect that, but I'm like one off.
Yeah, I get you. It's
MMPR
very
bad.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. MMPR bad.
Let me.
I'm not on the same plane as these guys. Anyway.
Wow.
All right,
Did you say
Keza.
MMPR good?
Next question. What year did the Heisei era start?
Wait. Oh my god, wait. What era are we in? Oh my god.
What do you mean, what era are we in?
The 2023 era?
Heisei started in my god, you're being difficult. I don't know things.
What? This isn't even a trick question.
Wait, so which oh my god,
I feel
what
like
era?
it is, but
I feel like it is, and I can't remember what era we're in now, and that's confused. It's gone. No, wait. 2000.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. No.
I lied. It was kind of a trick question. So the Kamen Rider, the Kamen Rider Heisei era began with Black RX, but they count Kuga, which was in 1999 2000. But we're not counting that right now. Heisei era in Japan started in 1989, which is a different designation.
That's
completely.
why I got confused.
That's why I was like, are you fucking Kamen Rider or?
Well, I would have accepted any,
Japan
but Kaz didn't get any.
But you said it goes.
I would
You
have said
said
2000. So
I said 2000. So at least I was on the same page as Thomas.
I think you had to say 99. I can't believe.
Yeah, 99 was when Kuga
Because
first.
like this will be easy. Well, to be fair, the MMPR one was my fault, so that one would have been
I'm
easy.
so upset right now. Anyway, move on.
It could have been any. You could have even said like Black RX's thing, and I would have accepted that.
Oh, I didn't know
Okay.
we could do vague answers.
I didn't know we could do vague answer. Oh my god.
You're a big answer. All right, Thomas. This one will be easy too.
He says.
This is a lie.
But this one isn't. This one actually isn't a date, so I hope you know your names.
Oh no.
What was the era before the Showa era?
I don't know.
Do we know that in Toku? Or are you just being
The Zengoku era.
It should be called that.
That was like decades
I know.
before the modern
I
day.
know.
What?
You know,
No, you meme.
it's the only other one I
Well,
know that's not the other ones.
What was it?
It's like, this will be easy
Well,
if you know your names. I do not know my names.
in terms of tokusatsu, nothing really comes close to this. But for you history buffs and for you people who want to know your Japanese history, it was the Taisho era before Showa era.
Taisho.
Oh, that was
My
next.
second guess, yeah. It was the next one, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't
Now
get the
this will
point.
be
I
the
just
last
want- I just want
question.
them to know.
This will be the last one.
Did any of
Well, one more
us
for
get points?
Keza. Nope.
No?
One more for Thomas.
Okay. Give me my question.
Okay, and now this one. These are not going to be dates, so this will be really easy. This will actually be easy, I promise. These will be the easy questions. Well, easy for me at least.
Okay. I'm listening.
Okay.
Give me the question.
In season 2 of Henshins and Dragons, what was the name of the original Kamen Rider that Matt transformed into?
Kamen Rider Sevens. Wait. Let me just confirm. Matt. Oh my god, it's been a while since we did a Henshins and Dragons episode. I'm not gonna lie. Pause. This is me pausing. Get away.
Pause? What do you mean?
Yeah, Kamen Rider Sevens. I can't think of anything else. Kamen Rider Sevens. Sorry, I should have done that, shouldn't I? That's the pause sign, guys. Yeah, Kamen Rider Sevens.
That's wrong.
What was it?
Thomas, do you remember?
No.
God, we're terrible at this. None of us have got points yet.
I still have one left. I'll get our last point.
Yeah, it's a Thomas. His name was Kamen Rider Glimpse.
Right, yeah.
Why do I not remember
Air
that?
Gazer fit one of those.
You don't remember when Yoko was the one who killed him?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember anything. Yoko just goes through life not really knowing anything.
Same.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when you kill someone and don't know who they are? Oh, well, I
chicken
guess
brain.
that's a normal thing. But, okay, last question. What is the name of the D&D podcast by Marco Satsu where people come together and roleplay? And
Shut the heck up, man!
That's so space. Henshins and Dragons.
I was gonna say, you better get that wrong.
That's wrong. It's Henshins and Royals.
Anyway, on to the podcast, because we're not dealing with... No. What do you mean it's...
Okay.
No! Edges and Dragons!
I can't believe this. We got 0 points in our first game show of the podcast.
Thank you for playing. If you won, you would have won a frog.
A frog?
No, I wanted a frog.
So now that we've done our Toku news and our Toku game, we are now going on to the main discussion, which is how do we actually get into Tokusatsu? So who wants to start with this? Or well, actually no.
Well, you're the host.
I am the host. So I'm going to ask Thomas. When did you do you remember what year it was when you started getting into Tokusatsu?
It would probably be when Samurai was on Netflix. So 2010, 2009.
Okay.
I just say the whole thing, the whole storyline now.
2010, 2009. And Marcos, when do you think you got into it, date wise?
1971.
So I.
1951.
Well, if you want to count Power, I hate you. If you want to count Power Rangers, I grew up with Turbos. 1999, 8. I think that's when it came out.
Gosh.
I don't know.
You're old.
Well, if MMPR was 93.
I think it is with everybody in the West. It's always Power Rangers you start with. Because I remember watching replays of Jungle Fury on TV and watching Wild Force as well on TV. So that's how I got into it anyway. But also I was really into anime and manga at the time. And then I went into live actions through the animes. My friend at school introduced me to anime when I was still in like secondary school, which was like year 9, I think. So grade 9 for you guys. Might have been grade 8. But that's when I started watching anime. And at first I was just like, I don't want to watch anime. And then my friend was just like, please watch it. And then I just fell into this rabbit hole of all this content. And here I am. I started with anime, then found like mangas of the animes. Then I found live actions of the animes. Then I think it was actually, I started watching Shinkenja because of Samurai. And I started watching Kamen Rider Double. Kamen Rider Double was my first Kamen Rider because I found a video of, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it was a ship video of a couple characters from Kamen Rider Double. And like a bromance video, and I went, "Oh my god, this is a thing!" And then that's where I got stuck, and here I am today.
Her Toku obsession was the BL obsession. It has the same story.
Yeah, pretty much. Are we surprised? I don't think so.
I'm a little surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be the same stories.
But also, no, I think it was like I specifically saw a video. I think it was the death of... No, it was like the ending of Double. I saw like a video. I don't know why. I think it just came up in my YouTube suggestions because I was watching it on YouTube, like anime and live actions.
Hey, if you like
stuff.
Double, here's a big spoiler from...
Yeah, literally. I just pressed it because I was just like, this looks interesting as a live action, thinking it was a J-drama or something, or a K-drama. Started watching it and I was just like, this is really dramatic. I love it. This is great. And then just started watching it from there. And that's how I got into it. So, BL, baby.
LB.
That's terrible. I hate you.
It's terrible.
Don't shame me.
Samurai was the first actual season of Power Rangers I watched. I had known about it, I mean, obviously beforehand. I think there's pictures of me in like a Mystic Force shirt. I have the Mystic Force Morpher from 2006, but I did not watch it live.
I loved Mystic Force.
So the first one I watched live was Samurai. Well, I didn't actually watch that one live either. It just ended up on Netflix, and I watched that, and I was like, this is so cool. And then I went back and watched like a bunch of other Power Ranger seasons because they were also all on Netflix. But I never went and like found Sentai or Rider until... So that technically that's how I got into Toku because of Power Rangers. But I found Rider and Sentai like separately because I watched like this one toy reviewer named Emgo. And he would do Transformers toy reviews, so I just watched those. But then he got into Kamen Rider, so he started doing Kamen Rider toy reviews. I think Drive is the first ones I watched. Or may have been Guy, I don't really remember. But I watched at least a Driver video, or like some of his Drive ones, and I'm like, this is like Power Rangers? I mean, I could see the boxes, so I was like, oh, this is like Power Rangers. And I thought like the shift cars were like Zords. Because I knew of like the Trideron and it looked like his shift speed, so I thought the Trideron would turn into like Max Flare or something. But then I watched like one of his actual like figure reviews, and then I saw like the tires, and I was like, oh no, these are form changes. That's different. That's cool. And then I ended up like I guess by watching his videos or something, like a Drive. I think the entirety of the Drive Guy movie ended up in my recommended. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but I at least watched part of it to actually see Drive in action, to actually see Gaim in action, and then connect it with his other Gaim reviews. And I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I guess that's ended up how I got into Kamen Rider, but I didn't really end up watching like a season until X8 because I didn't know where to watch them.
So you started watching Kamen Rider quite late then?
Yeah, but like I was into it. I was like following the news with... I think Drive may have been over, or almost over by the time I actually got into it. But I at least like Ghost. I was there for like the entirety of most of Ghost. And in Sentai I found out because Dino Charge was happening. And I was like,
wow,
these suits
okay.
look familiar. And then I saw Emgo's reviews as well. He reviewed all the Kyoryuger stuff, and I was like, that's the Power Rangers thing, but he's not calling it Power Rangers. He's calling it a different thing. And I was like, oh, Power Rangers started in Japan?
I think everybody has that realization
God.
at some point, don't they? They're like, oh. God, I have to remember you're younger than us. I have to remember you are young. You are not much younger than us, but you are younger than us. So your starting point is a later point.
Much.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's funny you say that, but my first thing was Mystic Force, kind of, which would have predated at least your Jungle Fury. So
No. But that was another thing I watched.
2011.
But I did watch Wild Force. Wild Force, yeah. I watched the re episodes though. I think I watched it when I was. God, I'm trying to remember my age. I think I can't remember.
Oh my God. Blah.
It was on Nick Jr. It was on Nickelodeon or Kick. No, Jetix. In the UK, it was called Jetix,
yeah.
the TV station.
Oh yeah, I think.
Do you guys have Jetix as well?
That's where they had Power Rangers. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So it was the same in the UK then. See, that's where I started watching it. So anyway, Marcos, what about you?
When Keza said Thomas got into Kamen Rider pretty late, I was like, oh my gosh, am I that old? Where X8's considered late?
No, just because I was just I was Kamen Rider double.
Yeah.
So
I mean, X8's the one I started watching, but I technically got into it Drive Guy. So.
Yeah, but it's also Gaim's 10th anniversary, and I remember seeing that live. So
Oh, I just realized actually no, I watched it online. I watched double online, so I don't have a clue when I watched it. Continue. I
think I've said this story pretty often to the point where I can just say it off memory in a few sentences. But of course, I grew up with Power Rangers just like everybody else. And then after a while, I just got out of Power Rangers in high school. My parents sold all my Power Rangers toys, which I'm still kind of sad about because it was a big box of Power Rangers toys.
Stop it!
Today the value of those would be insane because I had all the morphers from every season up until Ninja Storm, I think. So it was a lot of stuff, lots of Zords, figures, morphers, and I think I was sold for $20, at a yard sale. But still, aside from that, when I was still in high school and about to graduate, I looked up Power Rangers because I was just bored one day, and then I saw a recommendation of the Super Sentai Hero Getter from Gokaiger. The ending theme that shows all the Super Sentai and at first I thought, oh wow, this is interesting. This is just like Power Rangers. And then I realized, oh wait, this is Super Sentai. I've heard of this thing before. It came before Power Rangers, where Power Rangers gets all the footage, and I just replayed that video like 1,000 times. It was just so eye catching to me. And then that's when I found out about Linkara's Sister Power Rangers, and I just binged those, and that's when I started getting more Super Sentai recommendations and all that.
Nice.
And that's how the rabbit hole goes for a lot of people. You remember Power Rangers, then you see Super Sentai, and that's it. But with Kamen Rider, I want to say my introduction was Superhero Tyson, but I feel like I've at least seen it in passing, looking up Super Sentai stuff. Shout out to Overtime, the fan subbers. They had everything ready for me, and that was when I found out about torrenting, and that's how I watched Super Sentai through them. And that's also how I made my videos, was by downloading their 480p.mp4 videos that were hard subbed, and man, those are the days, right? But then I saw that they also subbed Ultraman Ginga at the time, and Garo, the one who shines in the darkness, around that time too, and Kamen Rider, of course, and so I introduced my other friend to Super Sentai, and we just kept watching it all the time. That's how I binged most of Super Sentai. That's how I got most of my knowledge, was way back then, binging every season one after another. But we just weren't interested in Kamen Rider, weirdly enough. And I thought it was silly. I was Simon Bennett, guys. I thought Kamen Rider was so silly and laughed at it. But no, just don't look at the camera like that, Keza.
I should call you Pukisatsu.
Pukisatsu?
Oh, God. Yeah, but that's basically how it was. Super Sentai from Power Rangers, and then Super Sentai into Kamen Rider. Okay. And now look where we are today.
in a
Where are we?
podcast talking about Tokusatsu, which we'll see how it does.
Oh no.
But like I was just when I was listening to your stories, there were two questions that came to my mind that I wanted to ask. First question: how do you explain what you do to other people? Because there's a funny story I have there. And two, how did you start making Toku content specifically? Because obviously that's also a start in your Toku journey. It's like watching it, but then also finding enough time to and effort and passion to start making the content yourself. So with that first question, I described it the coming out story because when I first told my parents that I liked Tokusatsu stuff, it felt like I was coming out because my mum kept on getting me like all these toys for my birthday presents, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's really, really nice. I had no interest in them. But then I was like watching these Japanese shows, and I started watching Tokusatsu, and it felt like I was coming out to my parents because I was just like, Mum, I really like Power Rangers. And because she never knew I liked it or I was watching it. So it felt like I was coming out to my parents when I was like, I actually like these Japanese people dressed up in spandex fighting monsters. And my mum just looked at me and left the room. And so, were your journeys any different to mine? Also, telling anybody what I do for a job, like with Tokusatsu and Kesahenshin, the channel, it's the weirdest thing because nobody knows what Tokusatsu is, and they're like, Tomkatsu thingy bob, what the heck is that? So I have to literally be like, oh, it's Power Rangers, and then that's the only way I can explain it to them is that it's Power Rangers but from Japan, and that's how it is. So I wonder what your experience with that as well was.
Well, I'll go first since I went last time, and then Thomas can go. So, a couple of funny stories. When Power Rangers Super Mega Force was airing on TV, like the very, very first episode, I was pretty sure I was an adult by then, pretty sure, and I was still with my parents, and so I went downstairs and turned on the TV and watched Super Mega Force, and then my mom walked downstairs and she saw me watching Power Rangers, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, son, you still watch that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That's mother.
Yeah. My mom's silly, but yeah, that was basically the start and end of it for my parents. My dad knew I liked superhero stuff, and he likes Godzilla, so he didn't really find it too weird.
There was a slight understanding there.
But yeah, there was a bit of understanding, but at the same time, he's also like an old man, and he's a bit conservative, old man. So he's gonna think it's a little weird because he remembers Power Rangers when I was a little kid, and I'm an adult. I shouldn't be watching or into that as much as I am. But over time, he was just like, oh well, it's what my son does. It's cool of him, and he did buy me actually like a Power Rangers pair of socks for one Christmas, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
But when it comes to like talking to other people about this, I try to keep everything in my life separate: job, hobbies, YouTube, friends, everything. So whenever something crosses over, or whenever one of my friends are like, "Hey, did you know Marcus is a YouTuber?" I just stop it there. Yes, I do YouTube. I do not talk about what I do.
I've had people do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's where I stop it. Like, if it ever goes further, I just say, "Oh, I talk about Japanese. I talk about
media.
Japanese stuff."
Yeah, I do the exact same thing.
And the immediate thought is, "Oh, it's anime," but I'm just like, "Yeah, it's anime. Yep, yep, it's anime." Yeah,
show them like a couple of JoJo videos. Like, see, yeah, I talk about it.
But that's really as far as it goes. My coworkers know I work on YouTube, but they don't know what I do exactly, and I try to keep it that way. And even around like cons or with my parents or family, I just stop it. I do YouTube. So really the Tokusatsu Power Rangers thing never really comes up. But my other story I had to say is that when off the morph for this one, when I got these, when I got these,
You have wait, you have tattoos?
yes, I've had them for years.
I didn't know you had tattoos. Thomas, did you know this?
No.
See? I had
showed them
no
in my
idea.
videos.
I had no idea. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You don't.
Okay, so this is the Kingdom Hearts logo,
That's cool.
and this is the Zeronos logo.
Oh,
My
nice.
favorite Kamen Rider.
Nice.
So when I got them, the guy was like, "Oh, it's okay. So I know that's the Kingdom Hearts logo, but what's this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's from this." I said, "Oh, it's from this Japanese show," and he said, "Oh, it reminds me of Super Sentai." And then I just glue. My eyes were like wide, and I was like, "Oh, really? Well, let me tell you."
Let me tell
It's from
you.
Kamen Rider, and yeah, pretty much. And he kept calling it Super Hentai though, so I don't know if that was.
That's something completely different, dude. That's something completely different.
Yeah.
I had a very similar thing where
Yes.
I met someone at Fringe and I mentioned that I have a YouTube channel and they did the whole like, oh, what's it about? And I was just like, oh, it's Japanese media, right? And he was like, oh, is it anime? And I was like, oh no, I talk more about like, you would know what it is. It's Super Sentai. It's pretty much Power Rangers. And you kind of like put yourself down, don't you? You kind of go, oh, it's just Power Rangers. And he was just like, oh, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. And I was just like,
You're like,
Right?
you don't know what it is.
Right?
hello? So yeah, I understood what you meant by that. So yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got. Whenever coworkers actually do find my channel, I say it's still just Japanese media, and that's only happened twice. So yeah, everything's separate. And whenever I go to a con, well, if people know what Super Sentai and Kamen Rider is, so I don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't told my sister yet though.
See, it's like coming out, isn't it? There's like an element of it being like, I'm exposing something deep about myself. Well, that's how I see it anyway. Thomas, what about you?
The thing for me is that when I got into Power Rangers and then Rider and Sentai again, I was still mostly a child. So it wasn't the biggest leap to be like, hey, familia, I'm watching kids shows because I am a child.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, it was more of hey, look, I'm watching this Japanese show, and they're like, oh, what's that? And then I had to explain it to them. And then, like, I definitely at a certain point when I was like, I don't have a specific age, but like at a certain point, I was still watching them and still wanting to buy the toys. And then there was a like, aren't you a bit old for all of this? Or like specifically, they're like, aren't you maybe a bit old to still be buying toys or wanting toys? This also applied to Transformers as well, since I was still into that. But then as I started watching more YouTube stuff, and it just turned out there was a lot of people that just bought Transformers not even to review, just to buy them, bought Kamen Rider, watched Kamen Rider. So I was like, look, it's not just me. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's fine, I guess. And now I just buy it all myself, so they don't care.
There's definitely like an element of when you get older, people are less weird about it in a way because you buy it yourself. But it's still like friends and friends are always a bit like, oh, you do Power Rangers stuff. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Because since I was younger when I got into it, like I distinctly remember it was like some Christmas when Dino Charge was happening. I really, for some reason, wanted like the big Toys R Us set of the Megazord.
Toys R Us?
Yes, that's how old this story
That's a blast to the past.
The 5 Dino Charge ones. Then my dad got it for me, so I don't know, it's in my closet somewhere, but I still have like the 5 Dino Charge Zords, and then at least my first belt, it's not in there. I thought it was still, but my first belt was the Driver, even though I hadn't seen Drive, and I still haven't seen Drive, but because that was like the season I was into, so they bought that one for me, and that was kind of where it was like, this is like a kid's toy, and you're not like an adult, but kids still buy toys at your age. Yes, I proved that to them. And then also, I guess, because of, on that sense, like, I was Drive and Ghost 2 Halloweens in a row, but there are no costumes for them. So my dad helped me make my drive costume, which spawned off of getting the belt. Your picture. I have a YouTube video if you want to like.
That's so
See those.
cute.
So that's publicly available information. And then the next year, he didn't help me as much with that, but I did Ghost. So like I made the helmet for Ghost. I made the belt too. I don't have a Ghost driver, so I made the Ghost driver. And then my grandma helped. I think we took like an old Batman jacket I had. My grandma stitched together like the Ore Damashi.
Oh.
So I don't think I have that anymore, but I had like
That's
a
so wholesome.
real jacket Ore Damashi. And then eventually I turned it into YouTube. Now they're totally okay with it because I get the money from YouTube to buy the stuff, and then people recognize me at conventions and they're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And now they'll brag to people like, "Oh yeah, he watches Kamen Rider," and now we've reached a point where Power Rangers is not a concept in their mind. Now it's all Kamen Rider to them. I'll be watching Ultraman, and they're like, "Is that Kamen Rider?" Oh, but it's fine. So, sometimes I do have to explain to people because they'll just bring it up. They'll bring it up. But usually I just try not to bring it up to people because I don't really want to get into that. But usually I'll just go as far as like, I make YouTube videos. And if they're like, YouTube videos on what? I don't even say Japanese video. I'm just like, oh, like movie reviews, show reviews.
Oh.
And then if they go and look it up, then I'll explain it. Then I have to be like, well, see,
Then
this
it's
is like
their fault.
Japanese Power Rangers. Yeah, then it's
They're
their fault.
explicit.
Yeah, now
They're
now I have to
implicit
tell
then.
them everything.
Not explicit.
But
Wrong
usually,
word.
I'll just be like, sometimes I don't even bring up YouTube. I'm just like, they're like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, nothing.
I've done
Just
nothing
here
with my life.
sometimes. And if I'm, I don't really want to be like, oh, I have a YouTube channel. I have some subscribers.
Do you guys get like imposter syndrome with it then? With the channel that you have?
Among
I don't think
Us?
so.
No, I not imposter syndrome. Oh my god. Do you get when you? Because I do. I get imposter syndrome all the time. But I guess that's also like, you guys have been doing it for a lot longer. How long have you had your channel for? Both of you. I was going to ask Thomas specifically, but no, both of you.
Well, okay. I guess mine is funny because I've had it, but I think so. I've had mine for like 10 years, my actual channel. But I didn't make tokusatsu videos for like 6 years or something on it. So I think this year, 2023, was 6 years of me making tokusatsu videos. And before Marcos says his, just to date his channel, is part of the reason I started making videos, is because I watched Marcos's videos.
No way. I think I remember you saying that, but that's...
I told you this.
Wow.
I told you this.
You have told me
I
this,
watched some of Marcos's videos, and then eventually I made my own, but I was like, oh, I've seen other people make these videos.
To be honest, I think I'm the same, but with Hawk. I think so, yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
The reason why I made my channel was a little bit more... There's a story to that, but we'll get onto that later. But yeah, Marcos, how long have you had your channel for?
So I looked it up because I don't know, but it says I created my channel on June 29th, 2009. But my first Toku video was December 16th, 2014. And I don't want to calculate the time because I feel old.
2014.
What's that, 9 years?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
Wow.
So, jeez. But, well, I wanted to go a little bit off, like, your second question, like, how we got into content creation and all that.
Yeah.
So, even though I made my channel in 2009, I actually made content way before Toku content. I was making, like, video game related content. And I was a little kid. I was a snobby, bratty kid who didn't know what he was doing, editing with Windows Movie Maker. So they were as bad as you thought they would be. Weirdly enough, my Super Monkey Ball Jr. Let's Play popped off for a little bit. It had 3,000 views.
Damn.
I was like, wow, that's more than one. Oh my gosh.
Me with my first video. That's more than one.
More
Wow.
than one.
But there are some elements from way back when, like the Toku discussions we do every year. I actually started doing that with like video game stuff, like way when I started with
Damn.
like other friends and stuff.
With other
Yeah.
friends? You had other friends? Wow.
I know.
Did you
Weirdly enough,
actually play the video games for those, or was it like your Toku ones where you don't watch the shows?
You know what, Thomas? Square up.
Oh, I don't know if I can show that on YouTube.
I don't have a weapon nearby. No. Wait.
Just henshin up, boy. Henshin up.
I have a
Yeah.
lightning collection.
Well, yeah, I actually played these using fraps, and fraps would make them into
I think you're allowed to
.avis,
say
which meant the files were like 10 gigabytes big for like a minute of footage.
God.
So it's that's just how I started out. But I was watching Cinema Sins at the time, and when I got my friend into this stuff, that's when we were like, hey, we can have a Toku. We did that, and it was really bad, but they somehow popped off, and eventually that grew into like honest trailers, and then like reviews, and then the history of Kamen Rider, which is how the channel became so big, was through the Everything Wrong With and the history of Kamen Rider videos. That's how it grew. They get the most views, they get the most interaction, and they're bad videos, but thank you for watching.
Enjoy them.
You're welcome.
And it's kind of funny to say that you both were inspired by other content creators to make like the videos. But aside from Linkara's idea, I didn't really watch content creators because there really weren't any back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
There was like Easy Rider, and there was like MGO, but they were like toy reviewers. So there wasn't really anybody who did this stuff, which is also why my channel grew, because I had a niche. It was a niche within a niche, and that needed to be filled, and that's how I got big.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna cut that out.
I'm gonna make sure it's clipped. I have the original footage. I can do what I want with them. What about you, Thomas? How did you grow, or start and then grow the channel, I guess?
So genuinely, I started making the YouTube videos because, I mean, as Marcos, I was making videos on my channel since I had it before I made Toku videos. They were also bad, but it was mostly because I had a stop motion app like on my phone or iPad, and it was just like, you could upload it straight to YouTube. So it's genuinely all I did. I just was like, I can upload to YouTube. Let me make YouTube videos because I have a YouTube channel. I listed all of them now, but they're not good.
I want to see one.
So I can send you one later. Yes. I stopped that because I just wasn't really into it, and then genuinely it was like a summer vacation in between school, and I was like bored. I was like, hey, let me make YouTube videos. I think it was just genuinely on a whim, like, let me make YouTube videos. I mean, obviously I'd seen Marcos had done it, I'd seen other people had done it, so I was just like, let me
give it a try.
YouTube videos about stuff I like, because I don't, like, a lot of my friends at the time did not watch any of that, so I was like, I can talk about it here on YouTube. So then I started doing that. But like I started, these videos are still up. I started doing like slideshows because I didn't want to use my voice. It was like basically PowerPoint with like music over it.
Oh my gosh.
Like I went through and timed it to like, if you enough time to read. I sent it to some of my like IRL friends, and they were like, I'm not reading this. And I was like, that's a good point. So then I switched to using my voice, and then from there it kind of grew, because once I have my voice and I can just say whatever, I kind of just started saying whatever. So
yeah,
that was the first mistake. No, sorry.
That was the first mistake. I think it was a build. It was my build episode 1 review, which was my first voice video. But actually, it's funny that I actually wasn't 100% Toku focused. because I liked Transformers a lot, and I still do. So I wanted to make videos on that. So some of my videos are like Transformers. I think my first one is a Transformers video after the announcement video. But I still had like a couple Transformers videos, and then slowly I also did like just random movies. I think after I saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi, I like started writing a review on my phone, and then I recorded that and just uploaded a video of that. And then slowly over time, I just kind of phased all of that out and just did Toku videos because actually I ended up enjoying talking about that more, and then also just kind of a channel growth thing. Like no one's watching new Star Wars, but the
Toku
videos,
yeah,
people like those, and I like those, so we'll stick to that. And that's where we're at now. Some people still ask me like, "Are you ever gonna make a Transformers video again?" And I'm like, "I don't think so, but
no.
maybe." As people ask me a question, I'll answer it. Like, what did you think of Rise of the Beasts? I liked it. I think not reviewing Rise of the Beasts was the nail in the coffin because I had reviewed I did like briefly come back to Transformers with when Bumblebee came out, so like 5 years ago. I went through and watched all the movies. I mean, I'd seen all of them, but I like did videos on all of them, and then I did a review of Bumblebee, and I did like a couple other Bumblebee videos, and I think those were my like definitive last Transformers videos. I think that's what you'd be like, I don't really. I don't like making videos on it, but I still like it. I'll still buy toys. I bought a big Armada Optimus. He's up there.
It's funny, every single time I go into like a kind of like geeky shop or like a Forbidden Planet or something like that, and I see a Transformers, I'm always like, Thomas would like that. And I do take photos. I went into one shop in Edinburgh while I was there for Edinburgh Fringe. I took a photo of one. I was like, I'll send that to Thomas, see if he is interested in that. Forgot to do that, but oh well.
No.
Wow.
Hasbro Pulse, they announced a lot of Transformers, so.
You guys had such like wholesome starts to your channel, whereas mine wasn't as wholesome, which I'm realizing now, which is kind of sad. Do I tell the story? I guess I will.
Is it sad?
No, you guys have heard it. I used to work with other YouTubers so the start of my channel. The start of my channel came from me working after working for two other YouTubers, and it ended up going a bit south. And I didn't want to work with those people anymore. Just situations happen. I'm trying to be as PG as I can. But I decided to make my own content. Why are you guys nodding?
Marcus is
we're agreeing with you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're listening.
But yeah, I decided to make my own content because I'd given a chance from my partner, Daz Reviews, who's also a YouTuber, who's been doing it for 10 years. So like he probably understands the issues of starting YouTube so
almost
many years ago. Like
Marcus.
Yeah, almost as old as Marcus is. Yeah. Are you though? No, I'm joking. But yeah, I got to start the channel, and Daz said, start a channel that you want to work on that's like something you're passionate about. And so I decided to do Toku because I remember I was very passionate about it when I was younger. And also it was just like, I would randomly be like, hey Daz, did you know about this from Power Rangers? Or did you know about this in Super Sentai? And he was just like, why don't you just start a channel on that? And then I just went, oh my God, I could do. And then I just started writing my first video. And with 2 days, I had it already edited, and it went out for the first episode as my first video.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Like,
it had a wholesome end.
Else about this? No.
Huh? Say again?
He was like, can you tell someone else all of this?
I definitely...
Here's an idea. Here's YouTube channel. Go do that.
Go and do that over there. I do genuinely feel a bit like that, though, because with my friend who introduced me to anime, like all those years ago, right at the beginning, she would be the only person who I could talk to. And I'd have to start the conversation like, I need to talk to you, but it's Toku. And she would be like, okay, I'll try and understand it. And I was like, cool, you got me into anime. This is your fault that I'm here. So I would force her to talk to me about this thing, and I showed her like the ending of Kamen Rider Double because I was just like, look how dramatic it gets. But I always, but like other than her, Daryl was the only other person who I could talk to about Toku. So that's why I'm glad I have other friends who talk about Toku with me.
Ooh.
So you're stuck with me now, guys.
You guys are my brother.
Huh?
I was like the same thing. I was either talking to you guys about Toku or my brother. At the time, it was basically just my brother. I was like, hey, he didn't tell me to make a YouTube channel, but maybe he was thinking the same thing.
Like, just go over there, talk to someone else about it. It's the slide.
Yeah.
Slide away.
It's a lot to take in starting a YouTube channel, especially since no one trains you for this stuff. You do everything yourself. Like when Thomas was bringing up how he had to time his slides and all that, I remember having to do like some of the jankiest stuff just to even get my computer to like render a like 2-minute video. And like I started out with the rock band microphone. It came with the game, and it was really bad. It had like no pop filter, but that's how y'all start out. And like I said, no one teaches you. But then look where you are today. You get like over 10,000 subscribers. You get like hundreds of thousands of views.
I'm not
you get
there
consistent
yet.
people who.
Sorry, joking.
You will if as long as you're consistent. Well, that's another topic for another day. But basically,
Oh my God,
you're still known in the community. The community is so niche and so small that you make a video that gets like 10,000 views and people know who you are. Like even at a convention, I can guarantee you, Keza, like once you get a Paramorphic Con, there'll be at least a handful of people who are like, "Hey, you're Keza Henshin. You make the Super Sentai videos." That's just how it is.
I did have that at MCM Comic Con, which is the London, the English, pretty much the English Comic Con. Someone came up to me and was just like, "You're Keza Henshin," and I was like, "Yeah," and it was the first time I'd been recognized as Keza Henshin, and I went, "Oh, okay." People actually know what I'm doing.
British YouTuber. British Toku.
But yeah, sorry, continue with what you're talking about.
Well, that was basically it. Just we start out small and then here we are together.
It's interesting because for me, I had a completely different start to the channel. You started like from the bottom and you went up, whereas I started because I started learning how to edit. And I had Premiere Pro. My channel is the youngest of the whole group at this point. So let's just say that. My channel is the youngest of this group for sure. But because of COVID lockdown, I got a job as working for the YouTuber. So I was able to learn a lot about editing before I even started thinking about my own channel. And I actually did start another channel, funny enough. I started a channel before Keza Henshin because I wanted to do gaming content. But I realized how oversaturated gaming content was at the time. It was so hard to get any views. I think the channel has like 130 something subscribers at the moment. But I did stop uploading on that like 2 years ago. So I wasn't expecting too much growth from there. But yeah, it was interesting because I started there and I realized about how oversaturated it was in gaming content. So that's why I went over to Tokusatsu because one, it's a niche in itself. It's Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Toku. 2, I am a female. I guess that adds to my niche. And 3, I'm British. So I'm like a niche within a niche within a niche at this point.
What's wrong, Marcos?
It's true.
Wow, I'm not a fan of one of those things, but I won't say what.
The fact that I'm I'm British or I'm a woman. Do you not like the fact that I'm a woman? I could be a lad. I could be one of the lads.
You could be a lad.
I could be a lad. No, that's how the origin story of Tomkatsu. So we have to know what we're doing. We have to know what we're on about.
What are we doing?
What? I don't.
Blue.
You're green though.
Red, no power. Tomkatsu red.
Tomkatsu yellow.
Together we are
Tomkatsu. Actually, no, that's a perfect way to end it. Any final comments?
Green, dang it.
That's what I said. You're green.